What is going on, retro duelists? It is the Mike Man here with a first place deck profile, a first place Jurrac deck profile. That's right, the Mike Man went undefeated, first place in Nexus. So you might be asking yourself, what is Nexus Format? Why should I care about Nexus Format? Because Nexus Format is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Okay, Nexus Format is an OCG format. A lot of people refer to it as like the OCG format version of Tengu, and it's close enough. It's not actually accurate because they have it's like one ban list over, but essentially it's pretty much the same era. It's a Tengu format version, but like way better. And this is coming from like Tengu's biggest glazer, dude. I love Tengu format. And this is literally probably like in my opinion, I think the best retro format I've ever played. I played a bunch, especially throughout the Synchro era, because I want to play Jurracs in like every format I can. I've played Edison, even though you can't play Jurracs in Edison. I've played like Edison up to like Redo. I've played a lot of these like middle formats like Trishula, Shockwave, a couple of OCG formats like Crow. But man, I love Nexus, and a lot of people are hyping up Nexus because it's a goated format. It's really fun. It's very diverse. There's a lot of reasons why it's awesome. So it removes ignition effect priority. So your bottomlesses, if they summon like Hyperion, you could bottomless it and they can't like prio pop something. So same thing with BLS. Or actually, it's another thing. There's no BLS in this format. Since it is an OCG format, there's no TCG exclusives. So a lot of the things people have issues with in Tengu format are gone. There's no tour guide. There's no Reborn Tengu. There's no Max C. There's no BLS. There's no Heavy Storm. Those are like the big ones. And I think that's really good for this format. Now, honestly, BLS is a Saki card and Heavy Storm is a Saki card. And the existence of those cards in Tengu format makes it so certain types of decks are just inherently stronger. Heavy Storm is not here. There's True Nade, but there's no Heavy. And I think that's really good because in something like Tengu format, decks like Agents that don't have to play a lot of traps have an inherent advantage because there's this Heavy Storm minigame a lot of decks have to play. They're inherently kind of held back, where something like Agents, their interaction are like Heralds, Maxi, Veilers, you know, like they play like maybe Does Shoot and 2 warnings and that's it. So those decks are just like inherently way stronger because of the existence of Heavy, where something like Hero Beat or TG Stun, they are inherently nerfed a bit by the existence of Heavy. They can't set all their back row, so they have to kind of like pussyfoot, whereas other decks, they can play to their strengths and just go all in. So control decks are a lot weaker in Tengu format. But here, that weakness is removed, so control decks are more on the same playing field as something like combo decks like Agents and Synchro Plants. There's no tour guide, there's no BLS, which is great because when it comes to Tengu and deck building, that kind of homogenizes, I don't know if I'm using that word correctly, homogenizes deck building in a sense where like you kind of have to play, in a lot of decks where you can play a Chaos Engine, you have to play 3 Tour Guide, BLS, and a certain number of Chaos Orcs. And then Trag is at 2. Trag is at 1 here, which is good. So the Chaos Engine itself is a lot weaker, and Tour Guide's not just like a mandatory 3 of you slot in every deck. So Trap Does Shoot is still in this format, just like every retro format, unfortunately. However, Trap Does Shoot is nerfed in this format. In fact, I did not main it, and lots of people do not main Trap Does Shoot in this format, which is, I think, a net positive. The reason for that is because Heavy Storm does not exist. A lot of people are going to set all their back row. Trap Does Shoot's going to be dead. So why would you main Trap Does Shoot? It's just a dead card most of the time. You might side it for something like Agents, but Trap Does Shoot is dead a lot of the time. So a lot of people choose not to main it or even side it. In fact, I did not side it and I went undefeated. I didn't play Trap Does Shoot at all. Went undefeated. It's not necessary. And I don't think I got Trap Does Shoot like once the whole tournament. Like it's not that good in this format. And another problem card with Dark World that people don't like, Dragged Down from the Grave, is a problem card. In general, people don't like getting dragged down by Dark World. Well, Dragged Down is weaker too, because there is no Heavy Storm. You're not playing around Heavy. You're not keeping your Reborns in your hand. You're not keeping all these power cards in your hand. So against Dark World, you could just set 4 pass. You don't have to worry about getting blown out by Heavy Storm. So when they do Drag Down from the Grave, well, you know what they're going to discard? Your Dandelion in your hand. You know, like Drag Down is weaker in Dark World. So Dark World is significantly weaker because they don't have Tour Guide. They don't have Drag Down is just much weaker. Karakuri is goated. Heroes have the Shining, so heroes are having a lot of fun. But yeah, you got Synchro decks. Synchro decks don't play Tengu, but there's a lot. The plant engine is still like a lot of gas. You usually see like Chaos plants with like a Lightsworn engine with like Raikou and Lila and stuff, and it's a lot of fun. And they can make Shooting Quasar, which is really cool. You don't have Shooting Quasar in Tengu format, so for you 5Ds enjoyers, you Yusei fans, that's something you could totally do in this format. And shooting Quasar is really fun. Gadgets are in this format, 6 samurais in this format, and it's pretty strong, but they have counters. I beat 6 samurai twice in this format because I prepared for it. And also it's like an interesting deck. It's a lot stronger when it goes first. Going second, it's not as strong. And it's also a lot weaker against something like agents, you know? So 6 samurai is balanced in a sense. It is a little bit stronger than I would like it to be, but if you prepare for it, it's fine. If you're interested in Nexus format, there is this dope article written by Hand Shuffling, who he kind of goes into depth on why this format's goated. In fact, you can expect a video from me soon about Nexus format and introducing people to the format, because it's super sick. I think this is a format that needs a lot more attention and love and play, because it's goated, man. This format is so fun, and if you're not playing it, you are missing out, man. It's such a goated format. We're gonna talk about some differences between Nexus and Tengu. So it uses a different ban list, right? So two of the biggest things: no heavy, no BLS. So some of the 2 sackiest cards are gone. Trunade is here. Mindmaster is here, but I haven't really seen Psychics do anything crazy, so that's not really an issue. Royal Oppression is here at 1. Now, that might be scaring some people, but it's okay. Royal Oppression is not the end of the world. Keep in mind, there's no Maxi. So the only anti-special summon card you really have to worry about that's like super cancer is Oppression. So that's another cool thing, is like if you're a control deck, like TG Stun, Hero Beat, Dino Rabbit, whatever, you don't have to worry about Heavy Storm. You still have to worry about Trunade, but you don't have to worry about Heavy Storm, which is good. It means you can like play to your fullest and set all your back row, and you're not going to be like super hindered or blown out, you know? And then if you're a combo deck, like Plant Synchro, Agents, whatever, there's no Maxi. So it's like a win-win for everyone. Everyone gets to do their game plan, and it's engine versus engine. It's a really cool format for that reason, you know? Obviously, there's still like a lot of interaction. There's still a lot of gameplay, because you're setting your traps, and traps play like a huge role. There's 2 MST in this format, so you're actually going to be playing around like fair traps, like bottomless. And it's not going to be like blowout cards like Heavy Storm or Maxi that just turn skip you. You know, it's going to be a lot of just good gameplay, you know? So Oppression is like a little bit cancer, I'll admit, but there are outs to it. A lot of people side Breaker, Dust Tornado, and MST's at 2. There are a lot of outs to Royal Oppression. Raikou is definitely a card you play in the format because it outs a lot of boss monsters like Logia really well. It outs Xian, so Oppression definitely has its outs. So Pot of Avarice is at 3. Smoke Signal is at 3 here. And Xian's at 3. So these are some things to be aware of. Formula and Librarian are at 3. So these are some slight differences between Nexus and Tengu. So those are like the ban list differences. So let's talk about the notable TCG exclusive versus OCG exclusive differences. All right. So we have the biggest ones are no Tour Guide, no Maxi, no Tengu. This Karakuri card is banned, or not banned, but not legal rather. GKs. A lot of people don't like getting roll tributed, so GKs are a little bit nerfed. I personally don't like playing against GKs, but GKs and then X-Sabers are a bit nerfed too. X-Sabers don't have Dark Soul, don't have Bogart Knight, and then Infernities are nerfed as well on the count of not having Tour Guide or Barrier. So those are some unfortunate casualties. I like playing against Infernity and against X-Sabers, and even against like Gravekeeper. So it's a shame that these guys aren't at their peak, you know, but I think the pros definitely outweigh the cons. So here are some great additions. So Dark Worlds have the Dark World structure deck cards. There's Rescue Rabbit, there's Logia. However, there is no Dolka, all right, which is very important. The Rescue Rabbit decks are so much weaker than like the Rescue Rabbit decks you're used to. Rabbit's nerfed too. Just like Dark World's nerfed, like I mentioned before, Rabbit's nerfed. They don't have Dolka, they don't have Tour Guide. So your Logia can easily be outed by things like Raikou, Gores, Logia is just easily outed by monster effects. So especially Raikou and Penguin Soldier, Snowman Eater, a lot of those things just check Logia. Shooting Quasars in the format, that's dope. Shockmaster's in the format. You have to be really popping off to make Shockmaster work. Gadgets can summon it. 6 Sams can summon it if they like open Gateway and they just get really lucky and pop off. Marrowgeist is in the format. This is like a rank 4. If it defeats something in a battle, you can shuffle it into the deck instead of letting it go to the graveyard. So this can deal with things like Sangan and stuff. Pearl's in the format and Acid Golem's in the format. Daigusto, this guy, the rank 2, it attacks twice. That helps out Agents, which is pretty cool for them. But remember, Agents don't have BLS. Agents don't have Tour Guide. Agents don't have Heavy Storm. Agents only have 1 Trag. So Agents is not nearly as cancer as it was in Tengu. So I welcome these changes. And then Violon de Sigma is a really cool option. It outs a lot of things. So if you can summon 3 level 4s, you can pretty much out almost anything, because it's basically Thousand Eyes Restrict or Relinquished. You just steal, you suck it up, you equip it. If you're curious on how to access like Nexus Format information on Format Library, here's what you do. You're gonna go to the Format tab, and it's gonna show you all these formats. You're gonna click the TCG here, switch it to OCG, and then you can see Nexus. And here is the Nexus format. Here are some of the top decks: 6 Samurai, Plant Synchro, Hero Beat, Lightstorm Plant, Dino Rabbit, Agents. There's like Karakuri, there's Machina Gadgets. There's so many cool things in this format, man. So there's Jurrac too, dude, and Jurrac is fire. So we're gonna go into this Nexus format 12. This is Nexus Open 12. 18 players. So a bit of a smaller tournament. We usually get like 20 plus, like 22. But I did go undefeated, so that counts for something. I made top cut, and then I continued to win through top cut, and I got first place. So if you're interested in playing Jurrac in Nexus format, or for that matter, any retro format, I highly recommend you guys watch my my deep dive on the technical play and like how to pilot Jurrac. Because the thing is, I've noticed a lot of people, especially in Tengu format or other formats, where they pick up Jurrac and they try it. They just don't know how to pilot it, and then they lose with it, and then they're like, oh, this deck sucks, and they toss it aside. There's like a play style you have to there's a play style you have to follow when you're playing Jurracs, man. I go into depth. It's a redo deck profile, and it's an in-depth thing where I go into important rulings to know and important technical play. So if you're gonna play this deck, I highly recommend watching that video. It's like my magnum opus. I go in depth on just like how to play around Valor, D-Prison, stuff like that. Like there are definitely a lot of like micro decisions that matter a lot. And if you're not making these like smart technical plays, then you're not going to be able to reap the benefits of Jurrac. But I will say, Jurrac is one of the most rewarding decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! If you pilot it correctly and you get that payoff with Rekindling, it's so sweet. It's probably the most, it's like such a rewarding experience. So let's go into this tournament. So top cut was Blackwing, Dino Rabbit, 6 Samurai, and Jurrac. That's so pretty diverse top cut. Here are the deck representation. We had 4 agents, 2 Machina Gadgets, 1 Lightstorm Plant, 1 Gravekeeper, 1 Karakuri, 1 Scrap, 1 Dino Rabbit, 1 Jurrac, that's the Mike Man, 1 Chainburn, 1 Gig of Ice, 1 Blackwing, 1 Hero Beat, 1 Plant Synchro, and 1 6 Samurai. Here are some of the top cards that were used. Pot of Duality was very popular. MST was popular as well. Solemn Warning. So here is my deck list. Let's talk about it. All right, so I was on the 1 Gores. To be honest, all tournament Gores didn't come up much for me, so I might actually cut this in the future. I might not. We'll see. It kind of underperformed. It just didn't come up. I was kicking too much ass. I didn't have a situation where they triggered Gores. So yeah, I was just in a commanding position a lot of the time. So when I did have Gores in hand, it just didn't summon itself. 3 Aeolo, of course, for Rekindling. You're gonna need these guys. 1 Jurrac Dino. I'm on 2 Guaiba. So some of you newer to Jurracs might be wondering why would you play 2 Guaiba? Isn't Guaiba like the best one? They play 3 in Dino Rabbit. Like Guaiba has to be like a mandatory 3 of. Well, no, Guaiba is situational. That's why I only play 2, because in a lot of game states, Guaiba just can't resolve. If you're staring down an opponent's Thunder King or Neos Alias or something, and Guaiba's smaller, Guaiba's not doing anything. The star of the deck is Jurrac Velo. Jurrac Velo is the best card. So for those of you that don't know, Jurrac Velo is basically a recruiter, but he has to be in attack position. So if the Book of Moon him, he's blank. He doesn't do anything if the Book of Moon him. If he goes to defense for any reason and then kill him by battle, he doesn't get the effect. But that's a pretty rare instance. So usually Velo's fine. And then also you can crash him. I'm frequently crashing Velo. For those of you who don't know Aeolo, during a main phase, you contribute it, summon a level 4 lower Jurrac from the graveyard. Velo is the best one because Velo can access my deck and access any Jurrac I need. So if I have a Lance, for example, and I can clear, say, a Thunder King Ryo, I would just normal summon Velo, go battle phase, crash Velo, get Guaiba, then Lance, then attack with Guaiba, Lance the Thunder King and damage step, and then make Logia from there. Velo is just great because I can be on the defensive with Velo. I can float until I see what I need, like a Lance or a Rekindling to make a push. But Guaiba can't do that. Guaiba's only good if I'm making a push. That's why I'm only on 2. And also I have easy access to Guaiba throughout the whole match. Velo can search it by just crashing into something bigger. Now, if someone's playing against Jurrac, they're going to be very wary of Guaiba. They don't want to summon anything less than 1700 because they know that's going to give me a free Logia. So, they're going to be trying to summon something bigger than 1700. And I am cool with that. It's not like Dino Rabbit where you have like Cabazols and Guaiba and you have to like play on the defensive. Like, no, I am cool you summoning something bigger because that means I can float a Velo or I can crash a Velo and set up my graveyard for a powerful rekindling play. So if you set up something bigger than Guaiba, great. That's totally no problem. Thing is, that's why I'm only on 2 Guaiba, because you don't want to be in a situation where you only have access to Guaiba and it can't beat over anything, and then you're just in a losing position. So 2 Guaiba is the way to go, usually. There are other variants with like Card Trooper where you want to mill a little bit more, and then Guaiba's a good mill. Especially because of like Rekindling and Aolo and stuff like that. So in variants with like Trooper, you might want to be on 3 Guaiba, or variants with like hand traps, like Maxi and Valor, but Maxi's not in this format. So in this format, it's a very control heavy format. There's going to be lots of traps. So we want to take it slow, be on the defensive, bait out their traps, and just play Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, we want to outplay them in Yu-Gi-Oh!, get it to a simplified game state, and then drop our Rekindlings. That's like the game plan, right? So Thunder King helps a lot with that. Thunder King stuns them, and then how are you going to out a board with like Thunder King Logia? It's tough. Thunder King is he's great at like any point in the game. He's great early game, great late game. He's great early game where I can just shut out the opponent and like stun them from an early game position, or late game, once I've established a Logia, slam a Thunder King, it's just great. And then Thunder King also synergizes really well with Lance. So if they have something bigger than Thunder King, I can walk over it and then establish. If you have a Thunder King and you're staring down something bigger than Thunder King, right? If they have a monster that's bigger than Thunder King, your Thunder King's dead. But the cool thing is I have Compulse, I have Lance, I have things to out bigger monsters. And then once I out those bigger monsters, I'm controlling the game with my Thunder King. So Thunder King has a lot of incidental synergies with the Jurrac engine, especially with Lance. So we're on Book of Moon for Battle Tricks. We're on Dark Hole. We're on Triple Lance, of course. I mean, Lance is one of the best cards in the deck. We are able to help our Guaibas and Dinos beat over things by battle, but also we're able to protect our Velos. So Lance is also really great for protecting us against Mind Control, Dark Hole, Deep Prison, Mirror Force, Torrential, etc. So it's just great, especially because like the attack drop doesn't matter, right? Because we're controlling the game with a floater. So Lance is like, if you guys think Lance is good in Dino Rabbit, it is way better in Jurrac, because Lance plus Velo, you're controlling the game. That means you can kind of bait out their back row. 3 Lance is so good, especially in a format as back row centric as this. Lance puts in so much work. We're on Triple Falsa Dig. Having access to our engine is really good. Trunade, of course, for when we make those big pushes. Minecon is great, especially in the Dino Rabbit matchup, but also we have access to tuners, incredibly easy access to tuners, through Falsa Dig, through Velo crashing, through Guaiba summoning stuff, just the Triple Aolo. We have access to tuners like very frequently, so Mind Control is just excellent. Monster Reborn, of course. Double MST to clear back row so we can make pushes. We're on double Duality. I might bump this to 3. Duality's pretty crazy. At first I was like kind of against it because we're on Thunder King, it doesn't synergize, and we're already on 3 search spells of Falsa Dig, but no, the consistency with Duality is so good, especially because you need to see early game, you need to see Velo or Thunder King or Falsa Dig early game. So Duality helps you get to that point. And then late game, it helps you dig for Rekindlings. So I used to be against Duality in the past. I have been shown the light. Duality is so good. Triple Rekindling, it's our gas card. The only Rekindling target is Aolo. That's all we need because it can swap out for other things. So you can Rekindling and establish Logia. And yeah, we're on double Bottomless. We're on, which is great because there's no ignition priority in this format, so Bottomless puts in a lot of work, protects us against things like Scrap Dragon, Brionic, Chaos Sorcerer, Hyperion. Bottomless is so good, man, especially because there's no heavy storms. We can just set it and just, it's so good, man. Call the Haunted is at 1. It's a really good card. We're gonna be on double Compulse. It helps us out establish things, whereas something like Bottomless and Solemn Warning are reactive, as well as Oppression is reactive. Compulse and Lance help us out things, so I think Compulse is really important at 2. We're gonna be on the one of Oppression. Oppression is just good. I summon a lot in damage depth through Velo and Guaiba, so I can play under Oppression pretty well, honestly. And then like Oppression plus Thunder King is a really hard thing for the opponent to out. And then Judgment and Warning, of course, some of the best traps in Yu-Gi-Oh! At this time. And then for our side deck, we got Double Valor for those pesky Chaos Plant matchups or agents and other things that Valor can can throw a wrench in, and especially because Veiler can protect our Velo. Normally, I like to main Veiler, but not in this format because it's a more backer-centric format. So I'm preparing for things. The deck I'm preparing for, I'll full on say it, 6 Samurai. 6 Samurai is a tough matchup for Jurrac, but I've prepared my side exponentially so. I've prepared my side to take on 6 Samurai, and it paid off. Especially Thunder King. I used to be on the Card Trooper version, and I made top cut, but I would usually get stopped by 6 Samurai. The Card Trooper version is still really good too, but I think this deck just has a better matchup spread into everything because the Thunder King is just such a powerhouse of a card. You could choose to play double Card Trooper, and it's a bit more consistent in terms of accessing your engine and popping off with your engine, but Thunder King is just better at like playing into and stopping the opponent from playing. So Grand Mole's great. It's great against heroes, great against 6 Samurais especially. And Penguin Soldier is excellent against 6 Samurai and excellent against Dino Rabbit as well as Karakuri. So Puppet Plant is great for warrior decks like 6 Samurai and heroes. We're on Black Horn for those special summon decks like Synchro Plant and Chaos variants and agents. We're on Dust Tornado because for back row decks, really, Dust Tornado is really good. And then Gozen is just a powerhouse of a card, man. We play so well under Gozen. Being able to establish Logia, and Logia Gozen is so hard for a lot of decks to out. Gozen is a powerhouse, man. And then our extra deck. We're on the 1 of Catastor. It's a level 5. We're on 1 Black Rose. We can make 7s through Direct Dino. We're on the 1 Bryonic. Sometimes we can make 6s. And it's just the best 6 in the game. 1 Giganoto. I like to play 2, but only space for 1, unfortunately. We are on 1 Jurrac Velfito. So for those of you who don't know, Jurrac Velfito is Sasuke Samurai number 2, basically, in Go format. If it attacks us face down, it just pops it automatically. The reason this is important is because when people prepare for Logia, they're siding in Penguin Soldiers, they're siding in Snow Man-Eater, they're siding in Raikos. That's how you deal with a Navulzar Logia in this format, because there's no Dolka access. Well, Jurracs have something up their sleeve. It's this. This helps me clear Snow Man-Eaters, helps me clear Penguin Soldiers, helps me clear Raikos, etc. Any of those pesky flip effects that are meant to out my Logia, Velfito can take care of. So he's really important in this format. And then we're on Laval Dual Slasher. He doesn't really do anything relevant to my game plan. I don't play any Lavals except for him. He's just a rekindling target. He's a level 5 synchro I can make in my deck very easy. And if I just need to make a synchro early game and then put this in the grave for later, and can come back with rekindling and make my rekindling play stronger. So that's why I play Laval Dual Slasher. Aside from that, we have Mistworm. Mistworm is crazy. I can make 9s very easily, so I'm usually making Trish, but there are times where Mistworm comes up, so I think Mistworm is a mandatory include. And then Scrap Dragon, sometimes I can make 8s, especially with Gores around and Monster Reborn plays. TG Hyper Librarian, I can pop off with Synchros, especially with rekindling. And then Trish. Of course, Trish is the GOAT. 3 Logia. It's such a good Xyz. And then Gemnite Pearl. Sometimes I want to beat over something, and the 2600 is a nice stat line. And then Steel Storm Roach is just a powerhouse of a card, man. In certain matchups, it stops Hyperions from being dropped, or Chaos Sorcerers, or Synchro Monsters. So Roach is pretty good, and there's no tour guide to out Roach. So Roach is quite strong, but it can be countered by Card Trooper, Thunder King crashing it, but especially Card Trooper crashing it is very tough. Okay, so the cool thing about this Nexus format server, there's a lot of love in this format, man. So every time someone wins a Nexus Open, they get a banner made by Hand Shuffling himself, makes a banner for them, and it's really cool. So there's this one for Hero Beat that won, for Agents won, Dino Rabbit won one, and it's, I don't know if Dino Rabbit's the right word, because they don't play Cabasols, they only play Sabersaurus and Gene Warped Werewolf, and they don't even play Gwaiba, because there's no Dolka. So they really just play like a 1 of Logia, and or maybe like 2 for Avarice. They just use the Rabbit engine as like a rank 4 generic turbo. Gene Warped Werewolf is really great. It's an Earth level 4, so it can play under Gozen. You can go into Gemnite Pearl. We've got 6 Samurai, Hero Beat. We've got Plants 1/1, and we've got Machina Gadgets, and then a different variant of 6 Sams. So Hanzo won twice, and then another Hero Beat 1, and then the Mike Man 1 Jurrac. And look at this sick banner, dude. I'm gonna make this a playmat. It's so cool. So if you enter one of our tournaments and you get first place, you get a banner made in your honor with your deck. So that's so cool. When I saw these banners, dude, I locked in. I was like, I have to win one. So I locked in and I grinded, entered a couple tournaments, and I got top 4, top 8 a couple times. Mostly top 4 because I'm the Mike Man, dude. I'm a GOAT. But and I was like, I have to win one, and I did it. I won one. So pretty sick, man. I love it. Yeah, so that's Jurrac, man, and this deck can pop off like crazy. Don't let anyone tell you it can't, because take a look at some of the incredible plays I did during this tournament. So yeah, that's my deck list. Keep your eyes peeled, duelists, because I'm going to be doing an in-depth, play-by-play, round-by-round analysis on all my plays. That's going to be coming up soon. I have all the replays, so we're going to go in and if you want to see how this deck performs and like learn more about how to pilot this deck, totally check out that video. It's coming out soon. So yeah, check out Nexus Format. This format's goated. If you want to play Jurrac, I highly recommend watching that video from before. All right, duelists, that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.